All right. So, hi, everyone. I'm going to open up the Twitter space right now. So, if you know, this is Digital Femme, aka Carmen, and this is Tech Talk Tuesday. And I think this is the last Tuesday of the month of May in 2024. And I cannot believe that it is already half the month. June is just literally a few days away, and it is insane. If you notice, I have a different backdrop. It different. I'm still in the same space. I still call this DF Studio. All I did was I reorientated my workstation, I would call it, or my command center. And honestly, I just rotated about, I don't know, what is it, 90 degrees. And then you get all this. So I'm not sure how it looks. If for those of you looking out there, let me know what it looks like. Is it too busy? Like all the greenery and stuff like that. I did try to blur out the background, but oh well, here we are. I was actually already speaking on Metaverse Radio. I'm doing a different process right now. Instead of like going all WAS and having you guys see me read the disclaimer or Twitter read the disclaimer, or like me reading the disclaimer on Twitter or X. Like, I'm just trying to do this different process. I'm not sure. Maybe it's part of this feeling of a little bit of disorientation because of literally a new orientation of the workstation. But let's see. I will definitely open up the X space now. But before I do, I will just, that's what I'm going to do. I really want this to be a chill space, honestly. Let me see. Okay, so we do have people here on X Space, Twitter and X Space. Hi, the Derbied one. It's so good to see you. Just telling everyone here that I'm trying a different process. I started out with Metaverse Radio first, talking, and then I opened up the different channels of the live stream, and then the last to open up was the Twitter X Space. This is again Tech Talk Tuesday, and we are going to talk about social media, the good, the bad, and the ugly, in addition to just having something super chill. I'm going to redo this. Actually, no, you know what? Because we are already started, and I did already say a little blurb, I am going to definitely play this because why not? I'm going to see if I could hear everything. There you go. Tech Talk Tuesday with Digital Femme on X Spaces, Metaverse Radio, and live streaming online. Grab a coffee and listen or watch. Share the link with your friends. It's about to start, so here we go. So the couple, I made a new word. I don't even know what I was going to say with that new word. So the truth of the matter is it has already started like about, I don't know, 10 minutes ago or 9 minutes ago. And like I said, I'm doing my new process. Okay, so why did I choose to do a topic that's been beaten to death already? And it almost seems like, why should we even discuss this when like it's already been 20 years in with social media? And so what, right? Like, so the heck what? Well, I'll tell you why. I did mention that there is a new kid in town. I don't want to focus this whole episode on this new kid, which is AI, artificial intelligence, but I just do want to touch upon it. And I do just want to mention something about it. But sometimes I feel like, when things happen in our lives, and first of all, it becomes I don't know, it's a change, like definitely with the oncoming, I guess it's a beast or it's an entity or whatever it is. I'm not kidding. I'm just joking. So when social media started, there were definitely early adopters, and the early adopters took it the way they did. And basically it was like just really fun to connect with other people, right? It was so cool to just be able to connect and find sort of like people with your same interests. I know that's how much I was a late comer to Facebook, to be honest. I think I started Facebook in 2007. The reason why I did was because I knew I was moving to Germany, and I wanted to keep in touch with my cousins and just primarily my cousins. My parents, obviously, and my aunts and uncles weren't on Facebook, and I didn't even care to think if my friends would be on Facebook. I just really wanted to, I was just concerned about keeping in touch with my family, primarily my cousins. So that's why I got Facebook in 2007. And then I actually got Twitter in 2007. And here's an interesting thing. The reason why, how I came across Twitter is I was living in Frankfurt and I was trying to find a job. So I would, like have my Gmail open, and I got an invite from Zunaid Khan, one of my friends and previous colleagues for Where Toronto magazine. And he sent me an invite to join Twitter. And, at that time, I was so into testing beta things or software or programs and all that stuff. So I said, sure, okay, I'll try this Twitter, like whatever he invited me. So I accepted it. I went through the process, and this was all through Gmail. I didn't even know what the actual UI or dashboard of Twitter looked like. Okay. I just like clicked through Gmail, and then that was it. Basically, that was it. When I came across Zunaid's Twitter account, I saw he was following people and he had followers. And at that time he had maybe like 38 something followers. And I was like, wow, like 38 followers. And that concept of 38 people following Zunaid Khan, like, what does that even mean? Like, I don't know what it means, but like in the context of this Twitter thing, what was it? So that really intrigued me. But then, I was too busy looking for a job while I was in Frankfurt. So I just left it for dead. But once in a while I was while I was looking for a job, I was also learning how to create websites. So that's what primarily I was doing during the day and the evening. And once in a while, because I had Gmail on or whatever that app was, which was Twitter, I would get little Gmail notifications. And the notifications that would pop up on the bottom right of my screen would be from Zunaid. And I don't even know from how, but it would say, like, it would literally be his tweets, but I did not know that that's what it would be. So he would say something like, just going into a meeting right now. We'll touch base later. And I'm like, and I thought he was talking to me. And I was like, what? And I'm like, oh, cool. I didn't think of responding to it. I just knew that I had gotten sent an invite for Twitter, and I went through the process of getting an account, and I'm following my friend Zunaid, who was in Toronto, and that was it. So it must have been a month and a half that I would see these little pop-ups of little things that Zunaid was doing, like out walking my dog, or just drove my mom and dad to the to get their annual checkup, or the Starbucks lineup is unusually long today. And you know what that did for me? I felt connected to him. I mean, we worked together in Where Toronto magazine, and I have not seen him in like maybe a decade. And here he was, he went into he emailed me, sent me a Twitter invite. I did it. And then I've never seen him for 10 years. He was like how many thousand miles away. And yet I knew pretty much how his day went. And without even knowing what Twitter was, I just thought that was like, it was a warm feeling. And then somehow, some way, I went through this whole roadway of I think I accidentally clicked on that little pop-up, and it took me to Twitter's online dashboard. And that's when I was like, wait, what? Like, wait, I remember he had 38 followers or somewhat. Now he had like 52 followers. And I was like, well, I want followers. How do I get followers? And like, why would people follow me? So fine. I went through that whole thing, and I found out that I had this whole Twitter page, like this whole thing. And then if back in the day, it would say like, what are you doing? I think, I can't remember, but it would have in the field kind of like faded out, what are you doing, to prompt you to do something. And I was like, I don't even know, like, I'm sure I could find my first tweet, but I said something. And then there goes my whole social media thing in 2007. I started like just saying stuff just to myself. And then I learned that you would have to do the @ to talk to something. So pretty much it was just Zunaid and I talking. And then I did Google Twitter, or I went through some like Twitter I don't know, like some what to do or what it was. And then that's when I really got into it. And you know what? I was like, oh my God, if you can talk to anybody on Twitter by doing an at, then I was gonna go find the people that I wanted to talk to. And I think one of the first people I wanted to like, I don't know if you know Jeff Pulver. So there was Jeff Pulver. I call him the father of voice over IP. I had followed him in how did I heard about him? Like in newspapers and like tech, like the tech scene or the yeah, and the communications, the telecom scene. And I was very into like that type of technology communication. So I followed all these people that I kind of thought in the back of my head, maybe they're on Twitter. I followed Jeff Pulver, Robert Scoble. There was Tim O'Reilly. I call him the father of Web 2.0. I didn't even follow celebrities. I'm not into like the celebrity thing, right? And that was my first interaction or connection with this thing called Twitter. And it was amazing because and you know what? Here's the thing. Because I was living in Germany, and sometimes the English language or the way you use English, like in a funny way, it doesn't really translate well. Or maybe it's just because Germans aren't really funny. Hi, I just want to pay attention to Twitter space here. Just wanted to say again, hi to the Derby One and Thor's from the Xenu community. Shout out to the Xenu community and the Maynets. I'm definitely going to have a special space on Tech Talk Tuesday about blockchain, layer one blockchain, in particular, multi-chain, cross-chain, in particular, Mainnet's blockchain. And I want to invite a few people along with the community. So it's going to be a really special kind of like space. Will I live stream it? I will if I can get like perhaps one of the what do you call it, lead devs or the C-suites to come on. But you know what? It's enough for the Xenu community to come in because they know like so much. So where was I? Oh my God, I lost my train of thought. Okay, so that was my first time I got onto like social media was through, I would really call it Twitter because Facebook to me was just cousins, right? And I didn't really, all I did was I would see my cousins post photos of themselves and stuff, and I would like it and comment, and that was it. But Twitter was intriguing to me. And then I realized that I felt alone in Germany. And I didn't know the German language, much less understand the German language, and I couldn't be me. And I realized that on Twitter, I could be me. So I was kind of like, I started just being me. I would like talk to random people and be snarky. I would comment and kind of like, in whatever way I did. And sure enough, I got followers and I was able to be funny. So the real reason why I utilized Twitter was really so that I could be my funny self and have like a reaction, like they understood my wit or my sarcasm. And that was so important to me. So that was my first, I guess, my first meet cute, if you call it like, my first romance with Twitter. And I won't go into it. So because this topic is social media, the good, the bad, and the ugly, we already know the good. We already know that we can connect with like-minded people. We already know that we can collaborate with people from all over the world, and there are strengths in numbers and the positivity. We know all that. Like some people have even met their significant others on social media, right? This is not just talking about Twitter, although I've been talking about Twitter for like how many minutes, but it's about social media in general or online in general or the internet in general. We already know the positives of that. Now, the bad part, we also know the bad, right? The bad is like there are, it's easier for us to get socially engineered. And if you don't know what social engineering is, I thought of it as something different. I was invited to talk on a Twitter space or X space on social engineering. And I really thought it was like how people or how entities engineer the minds through brainwashing campaigns and stuff like that. But no, it's not like that. Social engineering is literally like high level phishing and scams and stuff. So people kind of like, social engineering is like where people or entities kind of like manipulate individuals or humans that are online, whether it's through its not Facebook, yes, social media or email or whatever. They kind of like manipulate people. They get them when they're vulnerable or like they're weak. You know what it is. It's like when people say don't click on links, don't click on links that you get text, or don't click on links that you don't know, or like that people send you on email. Like you get that, right? Like sometimes you see like Amazon, PayPal, even your bank emailing you saying, oh, like, oh, if you don't click now, like there's something's going to happen, kind of thing. And that's like the social engineering aspect of it. Like it feeds off fear and FOMO, and you got to do something. So that's kind of like the bad part. It's been happening for years, kind of like in terms of, okay, no shade on car salesmen, right? No shade on them. But, sometimes salesmen get a bad rap. And I know that, I don't know where it's from, but you know how sometimes, I don't know if it's like that now, but I've seen it in movies and people joke about it. And it's kind of like a current thing where you go into a car dealership and you always get that slimy car salesman. And they kind of like, hey, they kind of schmooze you into getting a car that you don't want, or any salesman. I'm sorry if you're in sales. I'm sorry. I'm just don't, like, just be strong. I'm just saying, what can be a fact, or maybe is a fact, where it's like that, right? So we already have that without the internet. We've already had that type of pressure of to buy something that you don't need. We more so have that pressure now on social media, especially on Instagram, I would say, or on TikTok, or where, you have brands reaching out to like individuals and getting them to like promote their product or service based on the number of follower counts. And then there's an exchange, they get paid or they get product, whatever. And that's kind of like, to me, for one, I'm guilty of that. I have bought a number of products because I saw it on TikTok, and because I saw it on Instagram, and because these influencers, or I hate the word influencer, because these people would say, oh, this is so great, and blah, 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 blah. And I was like, meh, yeah, I'll buy it. Is that so bad? No, you know what? It is what it is. It's up to your perspective. Primarily, this is my perspective on the good, the bad, and the ugly of social media, but I'm just sharing my experience of, like, the bad part is I bought things that I definitely didn't need. But that's good. That's okay. That was my journey. I tried it out and, oh no, it doesn't work, or it could work, but it's not what I expected. That's fine. That's fine on me. The other bad thing is that I never used to be someone who would do the scrolling. Like I know that there was this thing where, oh, don't scroll or whatever. I never did that until I finally decided to just get on TikTok. And I think this was like maybe 3 years ago, 4 years ago. I found that I was one of those scrollers on TikTok and I couldn't put it away, especially the TikTok lives. Like, even though I didn't care about it, apparently I just got entranced in whatever they were saying, whatever they were doing. And I just like would get fixated on whatever that a TikTok live was, especially the ones, I think the ones that I got fixated on was, oh yeah, they were like Asian, they were Asians or whatever. There were people selling bags, or like they had these big barrels where they had like gemstones and rocks and stuff like that. And they would have these big plastic baskets, and they would be talking to people who would be chatting with them on their live stream. And they would say, oh, for you, or, for how many dollars or whatever, you can get this. And then they would like take this whole plastic basket and they would like dip it into this big bin of like literally like gemstones or crystals. And then they would like whatever they captured in that basket, whoever they were talking to, you get this. And then they would put it away. And then I was like, how did they know? How are they going to know which basket goes to which user, like which follower on TikTok? And how does that, like, what is the logistics of that? Like getting your number, getting the payment, actually, like that was going through my mind. So maybe that was probably why I was fascinated watching those. So yeah, the bad part is I do spend a lot of time, I find, just scrolling Instagram, even though I know I'm tired. And I know you guys who are listening or who are not listening, you do the same. You can grab a coffee, or you can be going in bed, or even sitting on the toilet and doing that. Now, is that so bad? I don't know, but I'm kind of like putting that in my category of bad, because like it definitely impedes on my sleep. And definitely, this whole thing about electromagnetic fields, and people like, oh yeah, like stop talking about EMFs, because technically, they say research says, I don't know, I'm just quoting, somewhere I saw that research says that, like you shouldn't be worried about EMFs because it's only devices, or whatever, your mobile phone, and it only gives off like 0.001, whatever that measurement is. But guess what, guys? I've had a mobile phone since the mid 90s. My first one was the Motorola, not the big one looks like a brick, but the small flip one where you had to, do the antenna. And I don't know what if there was an EMS back then, but like I pretty much had a mobile phone since like for like 24 years now. And I've been with laptops and computers. So literally I'm in the vicinity of these so-called EMFs. So what has that done? Like what does that do? What has that done to like my hormones, my all that kind of stuff? So that in that way, that's kind of like the bad. Some of the bad is also like getting involved with, like, I guess, people online, and involved not in terms of like romantic relationships. No. It's like what do you call it? I know that I have blocked a number of people on Facebook because they'd be like random people who kind of like are friends of my friends. And I would just think, oh, since they're my friends of my cousins or my high school friend, then sure, I'll accept their friend request, because like, why not? And then they kind of like, I don't know, like they start posting really weird stuff on your Facebook page, or send you, or it's meta now, but I'm still going to say Facebook because at that time it was Facebook, so I'm going to use Facebook, so shut up. So back then, and it was like I had to block people for that. So that's kind of like the bad part. I was conflicted because I didn't want to block people, because I think blocking people is such a, I mean, I know it's just like a tap of a button on your mobile phone or on your like browser or whatever, but to me that's it's such a like assault in your face, like, no, I don't want you in my life, like, no, I do not like you, or I do not like what you are doing, or you're creepy, so I will block you. And I always felt like, not, I don't know if I call it guilt. Yeah, maybe I felt guilty, or I felt strange or uncomfortable blocking people. This was the early days. Now I don't give a shit. I can block anybody, right? It doesn't even matter. And I don't block people often. I really don't. I do that though when I handle like brand accounts. Oh, you do a lot of blocking, like with the scammers and all, spammers and all that stuff. But it's interesting how that I had to process that the idea of blocking, especially when I knew that apparently they were like connected with somebody that I knew, like a good friend of mine, or my family member. And I was like, oh my God, are they going to tell like these people that, oh, she blocked me, and oh, is that bad? Like whatever. So I had to get over it. But that was like kind of like the bad aspect. The ugly aspect, oh my God, the ugly aspect is the fakeness. The ugly aspect is the hive mind mentality. We all know this. I don't need to say. The ugly aspect is anybody now who's on social media can say anything they kind of want. There's caveats to that, I understand, but like it's like a trigger festival. It's like Trigger Fest, really, really it is. And there's so many layers to what I just said about the ugly part of social media, because we're talking about algorithms, right? You don't even know the kind of algorithms that are out there. Like, you don't even know. We're talking big data, people. We're talking about big data, information, power, control. That's holy shit. So the really ugly part is how easy it is to manipulate, I would say, the masses, but to manipulate people that aren't as aware as whatever, right? So there are people that go on their daily lives, which is no problem, no shade on that. Like, it's fine, you do your daily lives, you're on social media, you see a comment. You see a comment trashing or throwing shade or saying something, like a strong comment on like a topic, a person, whatever. And then you're like, yeah. And for some reason you have, and I know this, like I know this because I used to be that, right? I would be like, yeah, like you read a topic, or you see a bunch of people say the same thing about a certain topic or person without even knowing the roots of the matter, without getting the facts right, or even wanting to know the facts. And another thing is, where do you find the facts? in this day and age in social media, right? And then there are people, and then you don't even know the people or the company that they are talking about or trashing or complaining about. And for some reason, people formulate an opinion based on that individual that is getting talked about or that company, and you just somehow go, yeah, and then you join that bandwagon. You know what I didn't like? I didn't like it when, I don't know if Facebook still does this, but anytime there's like a cause or a fight or a campaign, Facebook creates like these little filters that you can put on your Facebook like profile photo to show your support. I never fell into that. I never did that. Never, 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 never. But I would see that. I would see my mom do that. Like she's like, and in a way, it's okay. This is just my opinion. It's cool to show your support for something because God knows we do. I mean, look, I'm wearing a T-shirt right now for the company that I work with, right? Well, that's because I just like this T-shirt and I'm doing laundry. But I mean, we show support in the brands we wear, the clothing we wear, the car we buy, like the like the restaurants we choose to patronize whatever, the patron, the restaurants that we go to, that's showing support. People wear like those wristbands, like I think pink for breast cancer, whatever. That's fine with you guys. But it's one thing to do it on your body, like people have tattoos and stuff like that. It's another thing to kind of like fall into the trap of the data. Like it's like, I don't know if they do this, but I thought of this, like I think I thought it was a decade ago. I was like, man, because like I don't know, like there was something going on, and I noticed a bunch of my friends and family and even my mom, she put on this filter to show support or cause or awareness for a certain thing. And I was like, scrolling through Facebook and looking at all of that, and I was like, man, if I was Facebook, I could totally oh my God, like I could totally find out who are the people that would support, like if I want to find out in my audience, the number of the people's thinking or where people's mindsets sway to, like where they are on like a certain topic or a certain political situation or all that stuff. I could like put out a filter and I could see who is the ones that are supporting this, or who are more likely inclined to be like believers or have that mindset for that particular thing. Like I'm gonna be like putting on my evil hat, right? I'm just saying, okay, say it's not me, say it's like I'm somebody else, I'm something else. Those people who like fall into like, or who say, hey, yeah, I support this, I could put them in a group. That's a data set. And okay, like that's a data set for the governments and people to go, okay, these people are believers of this or support this, and we don't like these people or we don't want these people in the planet, so we can do stuff with them. Like that's how I saw, that's where my mind went when I saw Facebook putting out these different types of filters to show support for whatever or cause or whatever. And like, I'm not saying for anything, but there could be some certain things. And I'm like, I'm not going to fall into that. Like, yes, I could be a hypocrite because my goodness, I'm like here on social media showing my freaking face. They know my location, my IP address, right? They see my face. I've been like I've been like traveling and stuff like that. My face print or whatever is in all the CCTV cams and airport cams, like whatever, like what the fuck ever. But I mean, here I am live streaming. So obviously there's a certain level of me. I don't care. I care, but hey, hey, am I that important? Am I important enough for people to come down on me? Am I rich enough that they want to like, I'm not even going to go there. You know what I mean? Like, am I influential enough? Do I say stuff that like I need to be shut up? Actually, yeah, I say a lot of things that, I need to shut up for, but well, it's my space and it's my live stream. So blah, blah, blah. And as long as I don't have any copyright issues, then let's see. But that kind of thing, the ugly part of that social media thing is like, it's the data, it's what they're collecting. It's And I know there's like my partner, my collab partner, the Derby one out there. We are doing projects. Yeah, we're doing like a metaverse project, and he's so into the artificial intelligence and AI, and Thor's as well. Like, I mean, we all know about AI. Like right now, like if you're not talking, if you're watching me or you're listening to me on Metaverse Radio, come on, you've heard of artificial intelligence, you must have some kind of thought about it. Now, I'm not saying that AI is bad for social media. I'm just saying that it is what it is. Like, there are already AI influencers. There are already influencers that aren't even real people. And they're making making a ton of money on Instagram. There's already like AI avatars doing like having podcasts and stuff and all that stuff. So it's like, holy shit, there's a new kid in town. His nickname, or their nickname, is AI, longer form artificial intelligence. Throw that in the mix of social media, the good, the bad, and the ugly. There you go. Right? So AI, the good part of AI for social media, the bad part of AI for social media, and the ugly part of AI for social media. I don't know really what the ugly part of AI for social media is. I mean, maybe it's like the deep fakes. Is that bad or is that ugly? I don't know. Maybe it's the deep fakes. Maybe somebody can take my face, and somebody actually took my voice, because I'm like, I've got so many YouTube channels or whatever, like I'm doing this, and somebody took my voice and used it to ask a Discord moderator friend of mine that we both moderate a Discord server for, and they use my voice has an audio clip to ask him something. At the same time, I was already on a video chat with him on Discord, and I was talking to him face to face video. And then he asked me, "Did you just send me a message?" And I'm like, "What? What?" And then he's like, "Did you just send me a message?" And I go, "Where?" And he goes, "On Discord." And I go, "What do you mean? I'm talking to you." And he goes, "No, did you just send me a message right now?" I go, "No, I'm talking to you. You see my hands? Like, my hands are right here. When did I send you this message?" He says, "Just now." I go, "No." So he played it back, and it was my voice. And it was my voice asking him something, like something related to the Discord server, like, "Oh, do you have this link to something something, or do you have this information? Can you just give it to me here?" Or whatever. And I heard, and he sent me the audio clip, and I was like, "What the?" Well, at first I didn't think it sounded like me, but then when you think about it, I'm like, "Holy shit, that sounds like me." And he goes, "It does sound like you." And I'm like, "Oh my God." So I was laughing about it, that somebody would take my voice and, like, I don't know, like, use it to whatever, to fish a friend of mine or a coworker that who I was talking to right there in real time. That's weird. So I said, "Oh my God, you better tell the team that this is going around, because I don't want my audio voice asking people like the craziest things." I think that's the bad and ugly part. Can you imagine? Can you imagine like getting like a videogram, or is it, or whatever, of somebody that's not even real, or like, oh my God, that's so bad. You can go down the rabbit hole with this. I mean, if you wanted to fuck up people's lives, you can literally fuck up people's lives with AI, 100%. And you won't know what is anymore. Like, the lines are blurred, folks. The fucking lines are blurred. You're not gonna know what's real, what's not. Is this like, if I wanted to fuck up somebody, there's nobody I want to fuck up. Really, there isn't. I'm just saying, hypothetically, if I wanted to fuck up somebody's life, I don't know. Like, let's pick a scenario, a hypothetical scenario. Oh, I know. Typical women thing, right? Like, let's say I wanted a guy, which I don't, but let's say there was a guy that I wanted to have a relationship with, but he's with somebody else, right? I can create different AI avatars of attractive women and send them to her, saying, "Hi, I am Candace." I don't know, I threw that name out of my ass. "Hi, I'm Candace, and I just want you to know that your husband or your boyfriend is cheating on," do you know what I mean? And then I could like destabilize their relationship, and then get them to fight. And that, I mean, that shit goes on already in real life. I mean, yeah, this is real life. That stuff goes on. You don't even need AI. You don't even need social media. Like, I mean, I don't know. I think it does. Like, I see it on these shows and movies. I have no idea. But yeah, There could be a lot of fucking up, and we're not even talking. And forget about relationships. What about like professional relationships, right? What if somebody used your face and your voice, or just your voice alone, and did a pod and use it to do a podcast where this particular AI replicated voice of yours had a podcast. I'm giving ideas here. Um, thank you. You're welcome. I'm just kidding. Did a podcast where it literally trashed people. Like, let's say somebody took a voice of you, the Derby One, or you, Thors, and used your voice and created a podcast where you literally trashed Digital Femme, you trashed everybody, you trashed your coworkers, you trashed, but it wasn't even you. It wasn't even you. It's not you. You don't think like that. And what, do you know what I mean? Like, oh, I, I mean, oh my God. Talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly. We all know, I'm not the first one who said it. We all freaking know already that any technology gets used for the good and the bad, the positive, the negative, the blah, blah, blah. I get it. But oh my God, AI is gonna like, wow. Of course, there's going to be good things with AI, of course. Like, and this is not about it. Like, it's like, I don't know, like, I'm sure there's going to be good things. There's also going to be like sketchy, I don't know, like not so good things. And there's going to be like the really ugly shit. Like, it can like literally fuck up people's lives mentally as well. Can you imagine? Okay, so we already know that when we use social media or Instagram or whatever, you have these things called filters. I'm using a filter right now. It's built into the camera. I have the cheapest Sony F1 camera. I got it because I wanted to upgrade from my what is it called? I have two AverMedia webcams, right? That's USB hookup, and I was like, I liked them, but I'm like, I want to like level up to like a literal camera. I can't afford a Sony Z whatever, like the $2,000 $3,000 camera. And I think that's ridiculous. I just wanted to level up my AverMedia webcam, so I bought the cheapest Sony camera. That's the F1, I believe, and so it did level up. And this camera already has a built-in like skin softening thing. You can definitely disable the skin softening thing, but come on, if you have that feature, I'm gonna fucking use the skin softening thing, okay? You have the ability to do low, mid, and high. Right now, I'm at the low. Wait, am I at the low? It doesn't matter. The point is, I am using a type of blurring feature that's built into the camera that I enabled. Yes, I did. And so we know this. Like, we know that on Instagram and TikTok, there are people show it, and I think it's hilarious. People show the real face, and then they show the filter. And it's like completely different because the AI filter, whatever filter you use on Snapchat or TikTok or on social media, that filter literally can change the shape of your face. Like, you can have a really nice jawline, and you're nice, like completely changes it. And I kind of knew that, but I didn't really think that was such a thing. And I remember like 4 years ago or 3 years ago, I was going on TikTok or IG and scrolling. And I was like, man, that girl's beautiful. Like, wow, look at her skin. Like, oh, she got perfect makeup on. And even if they didn't have makeup on, I'm like, oh my God, they're so beautiful. And it didn't make me feel bad about myself. It just made me feel like, wow, there are so many beautiful people out there. Then I thought, man, your channel or your social media account would get more followers, because if you are good looking, okay, I know it's not just about the look, so shut up already. But if you are attractive, then you will obviously get views, because there are people that just post really sexy photos, guy and girl, or videos. They don't even talk. They just play music, they smile, they just do a little bit of movement, and they got like 1 million followers. I'm not saying about that, but that was me thinking, oh my God, if you were just kind of like attractive and like just did stuff, you would get followers. I wouldn't do that. I'm not going to do that. Then later on, so my point is that most likely they were using filters, face filters, and there's body filters, for heaven's sakes. And is that the bad and the ugly? Whatever, it is what it is. I'm not shaming or judging people that use filters, because like I said, I have this blurring skin softening filter here in the camera. But what it did to me was I was like, it made me think about, oh wow, like that kind of aspect. If you're attractive, you can do this. You go a long way in social media. Of course, it's also content. Of course, it's what you put out when you resonate. I'm not stupid. I know that. I'm just not saying that, but I just said it. So in case you might think, oh, is that all she thinks about? No. So yeah, uh, imagine, but then when I realized that, oh my God, there are these filters, and I tried on these filters, I never posted. I think I posted one filter just to show like I did that trend, but I tried the different filters on Snap or whatever, and I was like, oh my God, I look beautiful. And then I was like, how? Like people actually always use a certain filter and to put out content, and I like it because I love that it's built in, right? Like I think on TikTok or Snap, I don't know, I think if you're using a filter, there's a little thing indicating that you're using a filter, and then excuse me, the name of the filter. So I think that's cool, and people have no thing about that. But what does that do to your brain visually? It's almost like, so you're always looking at, you're always seeing this type of beauty standard, more or less. Like, of course, I know that there are accounts out there that are so real, like 100% real. And there are influencers out there. I hate that word. There are people out there with a lot of followers who they are showing people, look, this is me when I'm on Instagram, but when I don't have the lighting and I don't have the filter or whatever, or I'm not sucking in my stomach, this is me. And I appreciate that. Like everybody appreciates that. And I think this whole filter thing, I could just shut the fuck up, because it's like, who gives a shit now, right? It doesn't matter. I think people are already, the reason why I say this is because before, when girls put on makeup, guys just didn't know any better. I'm just saying, like guys just see you with the makeup and that's it. Like, oh, that they don't even say, oh, she put on makeup. They just meet you, and then that's how they know you. But now with this advent, I think it's been 20 years already, or more than 20 years, where like the makeup artists, where girls are on YouTube or whatever, and then they're showing their plain face, no makeup face, and then they're actually putting on makeup. I kind of like that aspect, because it kind of like, to me, it's like, see, there are girls out there that aren't always beautiful, like naturally. See what all the work you got to do, and it's like, who gives a shit anymore, right? Like people, who gives a shit really? But someone who grew up with that type of, there, what you had to, not you had to, but there was a certain level of, or a beauty standard that was being put out there when I was growing up. And like, I'm not even talking about beauty standard, I'm talking about the type of hair. You don't see brunettes, you didn't see like Asian representation. You absolutely didn't. You didn't see, like, you saw blonde, blue-eyed, blah blah blah. So that'll tell you pretty much the age I'm in. I am. But yeah, you didn't have that representation. But right now, it's like, who cares? So who cares if you? It's almost like it's normalizing. It's just no. It's just everything's getting normalized, guys. Like first, I remember when people trashed Twitter, and then now they're still trashing Twitter or X or whatever you call it. But it's just like I don't know. It's like it's crazy. It's funny. It's like you know sugar is bad for you, right? You know that sugar is bad for you in whatever form, but you still eat it. Like you still take it. I do. It's kind of like that. It's like it's normalizing. That's what I mean. Like, like it is what it is. You go on YouTube or whatever, you consume content, whether or not they have a filter, who gives a shit, right? You just watch it. It's almost like it doesn't need to be said anymore. So I'll just shut up on that. Alrighty then. So we are already 9 minutes into the end of this show. And yeah, I did not bring up any speakers. I really didn't. And I could, but I just wanted to like get in. The reason why I didn't bring up any speakers right now is because I noticed that in my previous Tech Talk Tuesdays, I had a lot to say. I had a lot to say also. But then I'm like, well, no, let's have an open forum and let's have people share their thing. But then I realized, especially in the past two Tech Talk Tuesdays, I didn't get to say what I wanted to say. And of course, other people's opinions and insights matter. Absolutely. But it's like, I last week and 2 weeks ago, I felt I left there was like this not empty feeling, but there was like this feeling of like unfinished feeling. It's like I chose these topics on Tech Talk Tuesday. I wanted to explore what other people thought about them, and I wanted to hear about them definitely. But then my voice wasn't heard as well. And is it an ego thing? Maybe. I don't really give a shit. But I know how I felt. I did not feel satisfied with the past episodes because, like, so the topics that I choose are important to me. They're important to me because, yes, I want to know what people say. But then, if you want to say something, then you get your own podcast. Honestly, wow, this is being selfish, and that's fine. That's fine. That's fine. I know there's a lot of spaces that you invite speakers. You invite, oh my God, I've been in spaces where there are like 14, 18 speakers, whatever the maximum speakers you can on an X space or Twitter space. And it's like you randomly get invited, or they're invited, or you can come up, and that's great. It's great for the algorithm. So there are people there that if you invite somebody with a big following, whether or not it's paid followers, or if you invite somebody with a blue tick mark, or like that gold thing. I found out that people prefer inviting X brands or Twitter accounts with like the gold logo or the blue thing for the algorithm. They tell me that because I'll always say, like, they'll reach out to me and they'll say, "Oh, can you come on a Twitter space or whatever?" And I'll go, "Sure." And then they'll ask me, "What account would you like to go with, the company or that?" And I'll say, "Well, if it's an X space about like a topic on what the company does, then I will go using the company account. But if it's just a Twitter space where we talk about topics in general, then I would feel more comfortable going with my personal Twitter account because these will be my opinions, my perception, my perspective. Unless I say I'll go to the company account and I will tell them I am this person on X and Twitter. I am using the company account, but I have to put an audio disclaimer. This is my personal opinion, and in no way am I representing the views and values of the company or the team of whose Twitter X account people prefer me to to log into, just to satisfy the algorithm, so then their Twitter space or whatever gets boosted. I don't like that at all. I get it, but it's like, no. If you want me to join in with a company account, then it's got to be focused on the company or things that the company is doing, like that type of thing. But if you're gonna ask these random general questions about Web3 NFT, where do you think Web3 gaming is going and all that effect, that I would rather go on with my personal account. I know I've said this, I've beaten this topic to death, but you never know who's watching. And I always hopefully people will understand that when you're inviting somebody, and I don't want to use a disclaimer. I mean, people can say, "Oh, but Digital Femme, that's fine because you use an audio disclaimer." But it's like, yeah, really, because like when you're in a Twitter and X space and you're talking and it's like 1 hour, the 45-minute mark, whatever, you said that disclaimer earlier, and then people are coming onto the Twitter space and they did not hear that disclaimer, but they see this brand up there, the PFP or the logo of the brand, and the person behind the brand sharing their personal opinion. They're not going to know. And that could be, and how many people play the recordings of the Twitter X spaces? Honestly, like, I'm sure there's a percentage of, but honestly, like, who does that, right? So that's why I have this huge issue with, if you're going to invite me to speak, and you still want, and it's a random questions you're going to ask, but you really want me to use the company brand. So my compromise is, I'll log on as the company and my personal account, but when it comes to like my own personal insights and stuff, then I can speak from my account, and if it's from the company's, I can speak from the company account. And that's a shit show when you do audio, when you're having two devices, having both audio, because it's like feedback. So yeah, that's why am I even talking about this? Speaking of which, I have in an hour at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, no, Eastern Daylight Savings Time, I'm going to be on the Satoshi, or I think it's called the Hideout Show, Twitter space, where we're going to talk about Web3 gaming And then, of course, I'm going to talk about the company Over the Reality and their entrance into deep and decentralized physical infrastructure. So, like, yeah, let's see about that. So I'm probably gonna log in with Over the Reality because that's what they used on the to promote it. They used the Over logo. And they're not even adding, never mind, let's not even go there. But yeah, so the good, the bad, and ugly of social media, this can be beaten down to death. And there are so many people can have different your own opinions on that. This is just my opinion right now. Disclaimer, hello. I just wanted to share this. And yeah, I did not invite anybody up to talk because sometimes you don't need to. Sometimes you can just talk. And honestly, I'm the kind of person who I could talk forever on one topic, pretty much. But I mean, I'll definitely go into different tangents that might lead to that topic or kind of like, like associate with it, with the topic, but I have no problem talking forever. No, not forever. Forever is so embellished, but I have no problem talking for hours and hours and hours and hours on end. And that is why I have spoken to Fred, Metaverse Radio guy. I think I told him about 2 months ago that, hey, Fred, I'm thinking about a podcast that I want to do, just not Tech Talk Tuesday, just something other than some that I want to do just for random stuff. And I don't know what the title is, but do you think I could possibly have a spot? And he said, yes, he's just waiting for me to figure out what day or whatnot. So I'm thinking, what? Like, can I do it during the weekdays? I don't know. Should I do it on the weekends? I'm leaning towards Sunday night when I can just shoot the shit I don't know. I don't know, actually. I'm still thinking. I'm leaning towards Sunday nights, or I don't know, like midweek nights. I have no idea, to be honest with you, but I'm definitely going to have another and I don't know if I'm going to do Twitter Spaces. I don't think I'm going to do these as Twitter Spaces. I think I just wanted to do a pure audio podcast where I don't have to invite a speaker. Yeah, and I don't have to worry about that kind of thing, and I could just like shoot the shit. But yeah, that's it. I just want to maybe that's what the podcast is going to thank you, universe. I'm going to call the podcast Shooting the Shit. Yeah, shoot the shit with no, not shoot the shit with Digital Fam, because nobody's coming on to shoot the shit unless it's shooting the shit with me. I'm just going to call it Shoot the Shit. Let's do it. I don't know. Oh my God, look at that. It's already at the hour, and I really appreciate that the Derby One and Thors has been so patient and just listening in. I hope they're just like working and multitasking. That's the great thing about these audio books, audio podcasts, or social media. You can learn while you earn. No, I'm kidding. Yeah. You can learn things, you can hear things, you can be a part of stuff while also doing other things. So that is really great. So before we end this program on Metaverse Radio, I will say that this program's content does not necessarily represent the views of Metaverse Radio and is for entertainment only. It is not legal, medical, financial, or investment advice. The hosts, guest speakers, artists, and other collaborators may have personal or financial interests in the subjects they discuss. So please critically assess the information presented. Not all content is appropriate for all ages. Listener discretion is advised. Okay, guys, heads up. I'm definitely going to be inviting the Xenu community /mainnets. I'm thinking of doing a series, maybe once a month, bringing them on. I would love to bring, I don't even know his real name. I think his name is Dale, but he goes by the Undead Xenu, the Xenu Undead. I'm not even sure, but I would love to bring him on to talk about like mainnets and the project. And I would also like to bring up some people in the Xenu community talking about the Xenu community and Xenu token and Xenu the NFT. And Thors, who is listening here on the Twitter /X space, he is one of the people that I would love to bring up. And I'm actually thinking of doing a collab with him on Twitch. He runs a weekly marbles event extravaganza on his Twitch stream, and the Xenu community or the Twitch community come on, and it's fun, guys. It is super, super fun. I'm a newcomer to the space, to the marbles game, and now he's been doing pop-up marbles games randomly. Like he'll do a shout out on Twitter or on social media, and then he'll go, "Hey, I'm doing a marbles thing. Who's in?" And people will just go in, and it's super fun. And then they have giveaways, like they give away like Nets tokens, Pepe Z tokens. They give away NFTs. Like it's insane, and it's so much fun. It really, really is. We need to understand that. I would love to talk about why is it so much fun to be with a group of people you've never met on a platform and just watching marbles go round and round and up and down and up. Like, why? That is so crazy. I know the answer. Yes, yes, I do. And the answer is really about connection and camaraderie and community, right? The feeling of belonging and the sense of belonging. It basically comes down to love. I know the answer. Spiritually, metaphysically, it really comes down to love. And yeah, but let's not talk about the spiritual, medical, physical aspect. Let's pretend we don't know that, and let's like pick our brains and go, but why do we as humans? Isn't that crazy? Anyway, I really appreciate Thor's for coming down, and I did do the heads up about the Xenu and Mainnet's community. What else I was going to do? I wanted to also tackle cybersecurity. I did do that with Titus.eth. He was a speaker on cybersecurity or Web3 security, and I did say I was going to bring him back on for updates on that. There's so much going on, especially in the crypto Web3 space. And I know this topic has been beaten down. Like, I mean, like, I'm not the only one. There's just go to YouTube. Go to YouTube. There's so many. Just go to freaking YouTube or Google or learn anything that there is. But it's kind of fun. It's kind of fun to just like, have my little say or other people's little say on a certain topic. Okay, so here's what's scary. I just got a 10:01 a.m., which is like 3 minutes ago. I got a Twitch chat. Somebody chatted me on Twitch. From Douglas FNS, Douglas fans, and it says best viewers on. And then he sent me a link. Am I gonna click that link? Hell no. I don't know though. So, and this is the thing. Maybe this link will take me to something that would be really valuable to me or beneficial to me, to my streaming or whatever. But because of the nature of social media, it's hard to trust. And I can't even Google the first parts of the URL because it's a shortened URL. It's really t.ly/EPB4V. I don't know what that is. So unfortunately, I'm not going to click on it. I will not click on it. All right. So I better go. I'm going to cough. I'm going to have a cough attack. But before we go, just say good, have a great. There's that cough attack. Have a great day and a great rest of your week. And let's end this thing. And live streaming online. Grab a coffee and listen or watch. Share the link with your friends.